Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, a few things. First off, I've had a survivor reach out to me in regards to the Agape boarding school. I'm going to keep their name anonymous, but this is the second one who has reached out. I'm going to relay in my video on Agape boarding school what they let me know, but I'm leaving their names out of it. These are vindictive bastards, folks. I'm finding out firsthand, but you know what? Like I tell the JRC, fucking bring it. Let's throw down. Sorry. Not sorry. Not at all. These people couldn't scare me if they tried. Alright, now, disclaimers. In the description box, you're going to see the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by Autistics for Autistics, where they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals from all over the world regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavior treatment program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. They have, of course, refused. So if you read it 5 times, I don't care if it's time number 100, read it again and share it on all your social media. You also have the public statement also linked in the description box in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, NeuroClastic's public statement, and their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. Thus far, there's been no further developments as far as I know, but I'm keeping my eyes open. We also have links to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school out in Stockton, Missouri, where they're going to turn around your rebellious teens. That right there should be a red flag, folks. That right there should be a red flag. The troubled teen industry is one of the most troubled industries, ironically, that you can come across, whether it's JRC and you're disabled, or where it's one of these weird boot camps where they think a fucking 14-year-old should be put through the same training as someone who just signed a blank check to Uncle Sam. But anyways, that's another topic that I'll probably rant on later. They have it, folks, and counting. 19 lawsuits alleging sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional and psychological abuse, starvation. It's a long list, including misrepresenting the services that the school can actually give said students. So please read those articles. We have included their change.org, Shut the Agape Boarding Schools Down petition. We also got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and use those headphones, all right? It is 10:23 a.m. in the morning. I just kicked my own ass. Holy hell. I don't know why I do this to myself. I mean, I do, but, you know, my brain is slush, and I am also in the mood to eat a horse. So if I stumble over my words, apologies in advance, all right? Also, trigger warning. I curse on this channel. I curse a lot. When I'm dealing with abusive pieces of shit, like the people that are at JRC and Agape boarding school, let's just say authentic me comes out. So, if you are triggered by curse words, I don't judge you, but please pause the videos and just take a look at the links in the description boxes I include in every single video, okay? Alright, so where we left off the other day. This is my breakfast, by the way. I'm running behind, can you tell? Protein shake, breakfast of champions. 130. Observers did not see a structured, systematic program for teaching generalization of skills, self-care, social, recreational, community skills in the school or residences to assist students in post-secondary transitions or promote transitions to less restrictive settings. I'm going to play devil's advocate on one of these points. They do, quote unquote, teach self-care, self-grooming. So-called. What they will do, what they've been caught doing in the past, if you read the DESE reports, is force children into the shower and then punch them and assault them in said shower. You don't have to take my word for that. It's all in the DESE reports, and we have done videos on that exact very fact. They teach self-care grooming skills by not allowing you to bathe in private. No, matter of fact, they will have staff sit there with the door wide fucking open while you are in the shower to make sure you're bathing properly. So, oh yeah, they teach them self-care skills, if that's what you call it. To me, it seems like they use this as a way to take away even more autonomy or any sense of self whatsoever. No privacy. None. Tell me that's not disturbing. How a place is still open that operates in such a manner, especially when it's a male sitting outside the fucking shower stall of a female student. Just saying is all. They'll tell you, but that's not true. We make sure it's a female staff. And what happens when there's no female staff there that day? Yeah, that's what I thought. On the other one, they're going to sit you and tell you, but we do have transition services. We do. No, they don't. Let me tell you bluntly, JRC. Giving a student a job inside the school where they still have to wear that fucking shock device is not a transition service. At all. Want to know what a transition service is? This is one of the specialties for me when I work for the state. This is one area that I really helped build out here. Transition services means having jobs outside the school without somebody there with a fucking shotgun, if you know what I mean. Considering they have the shock devices, you see where I'm going here. The way it works out here for transition services is you get involved with one of the many providers, Burl, ARC. I know I'm placing myself. I don't care if you dox me. Come at me. I don't give a fuck. But out here, yes, you have ARC, you have Nova, Easter Seals, what have you. And each of these services all resemble each other. So transition services start generally when in high school. You generally have your choice. You can start doing what I did, which I went with the college service. I went with college prep. my grades were high enough that I could go straight into college prep alongside the other kids that were in the A+ program. So that's what I did. The others is when you spend half the day learning a trade, starting a job at work. So how does that work? Well, you go into one of these services through ARC or Burl or one of the many others out there in this area now. There's more than a few at this point. And you get what they call job coaches. So what do job coaches do? Job coaches work carefully with your person-centered planning team to help show where your strengths are and even areas where you need work, and to try to help suss out a job for you that fits an area of your strengths. The job coach will, for the first week or so on the job, be along with you. But you also, this is really cool, you get where you have these relationships in the community where you can go and try out the job. Right? Right? That's kind of cool. Where you get to go and try out the job, see if it's going to be a good fit. If it works and the employer thinks you're a good hire, they'll go ahead and hire you. That job coach will then be there with you through the first week to make sure that you're getting all your training in a way that your particular diagnosis, however that is best served. And then once it's shown that you're completely fine, they will then take the job coach out. They'll check up on you every couple of months, and then it goes from there, right? That's a decent transition service. College prep is kind of a bit of a different animal. College prep is a lot like it is in the A+ programs, where you already have enough credits to graduate by going to high school half the day and still be able to take the college courses. So that was the program I got into. There are no job coaches, but what they do is get you well oriented with disability services on campus. It's getting you used to campus life and being amongst campus students without doing it full time. It's doing it gradually, taking the college classes, introducing you to the disability offices on campus, showing you places where you need to go if your ass is autistic and need to calm the fuck down before you take the next class, or that sort of thing. Again, these are transition services. You can say devil's argument that giving a kid a job within the school can get them used to working out in the real world in a safe environment. But the JRC is not a safe environment, first off. Number two, that's just the first step in a transition program. It shouldn't be the end-all be-all. The idea, especially for your fucking autistic students, is to get them out into the community, get them out of the comfort zone. I don't care how great, let's say JRC was more like Rivendell out here. One of the best schools in the world. However, giving them a job within the school and just letting that be their job doesn't really get them out there in the community and giving them more of a chance to practice those social skills on other people who are not autistic or other neurodiverse people, right? So yeah, These people don't really think things through now, do they? And how do I know what I just mentioned is successful? I've mentioned her before. Miss Renee was a part of those transition services that I just mentioned. She did the job part, and she's been at the same job now for God, about almost as long as my mom's been in healthcare. Almost as long as my mom's been in healthcare. She is a freaking beast at what she does for work. And she's quote unquote severe. So don't tell me it doesn't work, JRC. And she doesn't even have a shock device. I know, crazy, right? Alright, so let's read their bullshit answers. This is false. JRC teaches daily living skills and promotes transitions to less restrictive settings. Self-care and ADL instruction occurs at JRC's residences. We just talked about their quote-unquote help with cleaning, self-grooming skills. We've also talked about the fact that their transition services aren't real transition services. They don't really prepare someone for less restrictive settings or being out in the community. Because to get used to being out in the community, you gotta be out in the community. Just saying. The NSED visitors only spent 20 minutes at one JRC group home residence and 5 at another. Both visits took place when the students were first arriving at their residence preparing to leave. Again, they can't seem to comprehend or understand that they didn't just have access to the information they obtained during these unannounced visits. They also have access to the DESE reports. They have access to previous information from previous visits. They have access to camera fucking footage. What we call self-care and learning independent living skills and transition services, what New York considers those to be, is a hell of a lot different than what the JRC does. These people will fall through the cracks if they do not get out of there and get put into a better program. I know, I've seen this shit. You don't want to know how many people I've seen fall through the cracks and how long it takes to get them proper services. It's a real bitch. Moving on. Both visits took place when the students were first arriving their residence preparing to leave. As a result, the NSED visitors did not have the opportunity to witness these activities. JRC is a very active and successful system for transitioning students out of JRC to jobs in the community, to independent living, and graduating from the JRC. It is not clear what facts the team is using when they assert that they did not see a systematic plan for transitioning students. And here we go again. Let me let you in on another little dirty little secret of JRCs. When they advertise those particular students they're mentioning what they call high-functioning students. People they've never put on the fucking shock device. Because those are the students that they let out into the communities and get jobs. The people that are quote-unquote severe, Yeah. And remember what their definition of high and low functioning is, kids. Yeah. Their transition services are garbage. Complete garbage. And they do expect you, when you transition to an independent living apartment like one of those that I was put in, for you to wear that shock device for the rest of your life. How do I know this? During one of the testimonies, during the FDA hearings back around circa 2016, one of the parents mentioned the fact that even though he had graduated out of the JRC and is in a successful college program, they still have him on the goddamn shock device and still use it. That's not successful, JRC. In fact, those parents say if we remove the device, he reverts back to his dangerous behaviors. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be it doesn't work? Could it be the underlying problems that were causing the behaviors are still there? Logic. But they're talking about JRC about a systematic transition plan. A real transition plan was what I just spoke about. Those are real transition services. They start towards the beginning of high school. We even have volunteer programs for that freshman high school year to help you build skills and get you out in community and out of your bubble. Again, shocking, right? And guess what? Those same transition services are available to everyone, regardless of the disability or where you will fall on the autism spectrum. It's not, well, we can just have you work in the school. No. Everybody gets the same transition services out here. That is what New York is talking about. And once again, the JRC doesn't get it. And JRC, you can't come at me about this. Again, I worked in this field, and this was my particular area of expertise. I helped in the development of my state's voc rehab pilot program for people on the spectrum in regards to transition services, particularly those coming out of college and going into the job arena, and those who are going directly into the job arena. Okay? This was my area. And I didn't discriminate between high and low functioning. Okay? Your transition program makes 0 sense. But then, so does everything you do. And on that note, folks, I'm going to close out. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. As always, we here at Smelling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.